Ramsay Healthcare and Sime Darby are planning to revive the sale of their Asia-focused healthcare JV in a deal that could value the business at some 6 billion ringgit, two sources with knowledge of the matter told Reuters. According to the report, the companies are in talks with financial advisors to explore a sale of Ramsay Sime Darby Healthcare to strategic investors, the sources told Reuters. Deliberations were ongoing and no decisions have yet been made on the sale, said the sources, which declined to be named as the matter is private. When contacted, Sime Darby says it continues to review strategic growth options for its healthcare segment and that any decisions will be made with a view on creating value for the group. Ramsay declined to comment, while Ramsay Sime Darby did not immediately respond to comment. The possible revival of the sale comes as healthcare assets gain favour, with investors betting on the sector's ability to weather the current challenging economic environment. Earlier discussions to sell the JV to IHH Healthcare, one of Asia's biggest private hospital operators, fell through 6 months ago following IHH submitting an indicative proposal back in March 2022. Ramsay Sime Darby's portfolio consists of 1,567 licensed beds across 7 hospitals in Malaysia and Indonesia and a day surgery facility in Hong Kong, according to Sime Darby's 2021 annual report. Investigations related to the Pandora Papers also involve politicians within the government bloc in Parliament, according to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. He told the Dewan Rakyat today that while he didn't know the specifics, he was told that there is an investigation that involves both the opposition and the government bloc. Anwar says he does not know the position because whenever the issue came up, he would refer to the enforcement agencies. They confirmed with the PM that there is an investigation. Anwar added that the decision whether to press charges is up to the Attorney General's chambers. Anwar was responding to PAS MP for Rantau Panjang Datuk Siti Zaila Muhammad Yusof, who asked whether there is any investigation of MPs in the government's bloc as well as funds that went into component parties within the government coalition. Anwar, who is also PKR president, says that he has no problem regarding investigations into political funding. He adds that there is no infringement of the law from a legal perspective for any people to donate to political parties. However, he says those related to the corruption element are because of awarding contracts, and those who were awarded contracts provided funds to private companies or individuals or parties. Last month, several politicians from now opposition Perikatan Nasional were brought to the court over corruption-related offences linked to Jana Wibawa, a program expediting the government's construction project rollouts during the COVID-19 pandemic. They are then Information Chief of Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, Datuk Wan Saiful Wanjan, and Bersatu Segambut Deputy Division Chief Adam Radlan Adam Muhammad. Earlier in March, PN Chairman and ex-PM Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin was also charged in court over allegedly receiving bribes and money laundering. All three pleaded not guilty, while Muhyiddin openly called for regulators to investigate political funds received by PKR and UMNO as well. Eastern and Oriental has proposed to pay 46.95 million to purchase the remaining 40% equity interest in EOPDC Holdings from Penang Development Corp to enable ENO to wholly own the Seri Tanjung Pinang Reclamation and Development Concession. ENOPDC owns 30% of Tanjung Pinang Development, while the remaining 70% is held by Permaijiana Ribu Malaysia, a wholly owned indirect subsidiary of ENO. TPD holds the concession rights to the reclamation and development of Seri Tanjung Pinang. In a BORS filing, ENO says this acquisition from PDC will enable it 100% ownership of TPD, where the main development activities for the group will be concentrated on over the next 30 years. The property developer said it has completed the second phase of the Seri Tanjung Pinang reclamation, called Andaman Phase 2, and plans to initiate the development of the 253-acre land over the next 15 years, with a projected gross development value of 17 billion ringgit. Meanwhile, the reclamation for Phase 2 is expected to take another 3 years to complete and will provide future land bank for development. As a result, ENO believes that Andaman Island will play a significant role in driving its growth trajectory in Penang in the coming years. The group says the purchase is not subject to approval of its shareholders nor any other government authority and is expected to be completed by December 2023. 5 more highways have agreed to participate in implementing the open toll payment system that will begin in mid-September, according to Works Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nathalinggi. The highways are the Damansara Puchong Expressway or LDP, Sprint Highway, Shah Alam Expressway or KESAS, Smart Tunnel, and the Kuala Lumpur Putrajaya Expressway or MAX, Bernama reports. On his official Facebook, Nanta reiterates that the open payment system will be implemented in phases involving various concession companies. He says that negotiations on this are an ongoing effort by the ministry and needs to be done to ensure successful implementation of the multi-lane fast flow system that is in the works. Prior to this, Nanta announced that 6 highways along with the Butterworth Kulim Expressway will implement the open payment system to allow users to pay tolls using other means. He says this brings the total number of highways involved to 11. Nanta also announced that the Sungai Besi Expressway would be the first location for the implementation of the MLFF proof of concept. He adds that a location of the second POC will be announced in the near future. Datuk Seri Najib Razak's misfeasance in public office, malicious process and negligence suit against former Attorney General Tan Sri Tommy Thomas is not sustainable, as it is the court that determines the guilt or innocence of a person. High Court Judge Datuk Ahmad Bache, who allowed the striking out of Najib's suit against Thomas, said in his 37-page grounds that Malaysia's justice system, which the judge described as rigorous, as the AG has to undergo several stages of built-in check and balance and will not cause or will never cause Thomas to commit the 3 torts as alleged. Ahmad said the fact that Thomas's successor Tan Sri Idris Harun had continued with prosecuting the former PM of the 35 existing charges lends credence to Thomas's decision to charge Najib for the same. He says this dispels the notion that Thomas had some political or personal agenda against Najib when he preferred the 35 charges in the 4 cases against him, as Idris was not appointed by the then Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad government. Ahmad notes that Najib had excluded 7 SRC international charges in his claim and only sticks to his ongoing 35 charges in the 4 cases where Thomas was earlier involved in the SRC trial. He points out that Thomas did not even conduct the trial of the 4 cases and that the trials have either not started or are still pending, and that Thomas had already vacated the AG post, and those 4 cases remain pending at the time Najib's suit was filed in 2021.